Something about that Monday morning cup of Joe tastes even better now that the mornings are getting colder. I hope you had a great weekend. I don't know about you, but it's raining here and it's actually cold, which is kind of nice. We're changing seasons. We're getting into the swing of new things. And one of the things that we all deal with on, well, maybe more often than we like, conflict. Conflict is huge. Whether we are in conflict with our boss at work or a coworker or at home with the other boss or family members, conflict can be a difficult and painful thing to navigate. And it's so important sometimes for us to be able to put our emotions in check during conflict. Sometimes our emotions take over, and well, things didn't go like we would have liked to have gone, right? That's one of the biggest challenges in conflict, is that it does hit our limbic system and it's the fight or flight kind of reaction. And a lot of us like to fight. Look, conflict is a natural thing. It's going to happen. If you're talking politics or religion or whatever, conflict is going to happen. So what we're going to talk about on After the Coffee on Wednesday is I'm going to introduce the practice of constructive conflict. But it takes some discipline. It takes some discipline from the standpoint that we have to recognize that anger that comes up from within us. We experience the feelings on a physiological basis, and each feeling has its telltale sign that it's there. I mean, if we're super happy, we might laugh or smile. That's an indication. We feel happy. We know when we're happy. On the same note, we know when we are starting to get angry. And we have to be able to pause in that moment and say, okay, now wait a second. Why am I angry? What am I feeling? Am I fearing something? Is fear triggering this anger that I have? What could it be? Frustration? Another one? You get frustrated. I always just take another sip of my cup of Joe. That gives me a long enough pause for me to sit back and think, what's going on? Why am I feeling this? Because if we feed into it immediately, right, we often will say or do things that we regret later. And that's a hard place to recover from. If we do that and react, we break trust. We question psychological or emotional safety of those around us, and they close up, they shut down. And that's not really what we want, right? It's not really what we want. But those emotions get the best of us sometimes, and we react, and you can't take that back. The words we say in anger can come back to bite us, and they most often will. So on Wednesday after the coffee, we're going to talk about constructive conflict and how do we create that constructive conflict. Now, I gave you a hint today from the standpoint of being able to catch ourselves in the emotion, in the moment. And sometimes it's just so much that we have to say, I got to process this. Let's talk later on today. Then you're putting a space in there where it gives you time to cool down, and think about what it is you really want to say. And that's so important because if we react versus respond, well, we get ourselves in hot water sometimes. And we spend a lot of time trying to make up for it. So, that, my friend, is what we will be talking about on Wednesday after the coffee. And if you do have conflict, who doesn't have conflict? If you do have conflict, I invite you to join me on Wednesday for After the Coffee so that we can talk about breaking conflict down into valuable, meaningful, effective communication. Until then, get ready for this week. Grab your Monday morning cup of Joe because I don't know about you, but it's extra cold here. So I'll probably be having a couple of these today. And have a great week. In the meantime, lead well, my friend.